This right here is the Toyota Land Cruiser LC300. Finally, it's the biggest, the baddest, and most expensive SUV that you can buy from Toyota. In this video, we'll do a full walk around. We'll check out the exterior, the interior, the features. Yeah, so is it worth the money? Let's find out. The Land Cruiser is one of the most iconic badges in Toyota's stable. It's like the Corolla in terms of historical importance, but a lot more high-end and a lot more collectible. It's also one of their oldest badges. The first Land Cruiser was released in 1951, 71 years ago. Over that span of time, over 10 million units have been sold, and it garnered a reputation as a very reliable and very capable off-roader. There have been 10 generations so far. This right here is the latest one. This is the J300 or the LC300. The LC300 is bigger than the outgoing LC200. If the LC200 looked rounded and bloated, this looks more angular and boxy. So here at the front, it gets adaptive LED headlamps. It gets LED DRLs. It has a much broader face. This grille right here is massive. You got fog lamps down here. The Toyota logo is encased in glass because this has a radar unit. This, of course, has adaptive cruise control. It has automatic braking, as you'd expect in this price bracket. Over here you have headlight washers. Yeah, so overall I think the front end is a major improvement over the previous one. The LC300 is a massive vehicle. It is significantly bigger than the LC200. I'm 5'8", and as you can see, it's a lot taller than me. Here are the dimensions down here. So from this angle, you can clearly see the more angular, more boxy design of the LC300. If you look at this section right here, you have an almost 90-degree angle. The back end is almost completely flat, which I guess is good for maximizing interior space. It gets 20-inch polished wheels wrapped in 265/55 Bridgestone tires. It gets disc brakes on all four corners, of course. The styling is conservative. You don't really get a lot of character lines here, but you do get massive fender bulges to emphasize the width of the car. This is the boxiest angle of the Land Cruiser LC300. Over here it gets these massive LED tail lamps with these sequential LED turn signals. It gets this massive Land Cruiser badge over here. Down here you get a provision for a tow hook. By the way, that will be included if you purchase the LC300. So one major change here is that it no longer gets a split tailgate. You now have one massive tailgate. Of course, it's power operated. Okay, so the LC300 now comes with power folding third row seats. It takes a while for them to fully deploy, as you can see. So with the third row seats up, you don't actually have a lot of space here. You have less space here than a Toyota Fortuner. But with a third row seat down, you have this much cargo space. Okay, so you don't get a completely flat surface here. As you can see, there's a bit of a bulge where the second row seat is. You can actually tumble this down if you need more space. Under the hood, it has a 3.3 liter V6 diesel engine, which is coupled to a 10-speed automatic transmission. It produces 302 horsepower and 700 Newton meters of torque. Okay, so let's take a look inside. Now, as you can see, this glass is pretty thick. It looks like it actually has double pane glass, which is good for sound insulation. Of course, it has power adjustable seats. So these are 10-way adjustable. You got lumbar support, and of course you can adjust it in every way possible. You have 3-person memory settings. Okay, so let's start the engine. I think this is one of the nicest interiors that I've seen on a Toyota. All the buttons feel nice. Everything here is leather wrapped. You have these wood accents over here, which I think is actual wood. It feels real and it sounds real. You don't have a lot of hard plastics. This is also leather wrapped right here. This is soft padded, leather wrapped, leather wrapped. Even this is leather wrapped. You don't see a lot of hard plastics here, except for this maybe, which you don't really get to touch. The steering wheel is covered in supple leather. You also have these wood accents over here and these metallic looking accents. By the way, this has adaptive cruise control, it has lane keep assist, it has Toyota's safety sense. The steering wheel has some heft to it, but considering the car's size, it's actually relatively light. You have a pretty wide leather wrapped center armrest, and this opens both ways. You can open it this way, and underneath you have plenty of storage, as you can see. And you can also open it from the other side, like so. The glove box is also pretty sizable, and you have multiple levels to it. Over here you get one USB port, another one over here, and one 12-volt outlet. It does come with an electronic parking brake with auto hold. Over here you have a wireless phone charger. And for the Titos out there, you still get a CD slot. Over here you get 2 cup holders. This is the largest and most sophisticated infotainment screen that I've seen on any Toyota. You get a 360 camera. The resolution's pretty good, and you get active guidelines. Of course, you have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You got seat ventilation. You have built-in navigation. You get an analog speedometer and tachometer, and you get this large multifunction screen at the center. Over here you have a drive mode selector. You can choose from Eco, Comfort, Normal, Sports, Sports Plus, and Custom. The Land Cruiser is a full-time all-wheel drive vehicle, so you can't put this in two-wheel drive mode. Over here you have MTS. MTS, or Multi-Terrain Select System, automatically modifies the vehicle's throttle, braking, and traction control systems to suit off-road conditions, providing the driver with maximum traction control and vehicle control for any given scenario. You have here DAC crawl. DAC crawl control is like cruise control for really rough terrain. The system applies throttle and brakes to maintain a set speed without requiring input from the driver. You have a center differential lock and you have a rear differential lock. Actually, let me correct myself. It has a front differential lock, a center differential lock, and a rear differential lock. It has enough off-road specific features to embarrass even a modified 4x4 PPV. Okay, let's step in the second row seat. This is a very wide vehicle, and in a pinch you can probably fit 4 people here, 4 average sized people. Legroom is decent, headroom is okay. Down here you get 2 air vents. You also get seat ventilation and seat heating. You also get 2 climate zones here. I'm gonna correct myself, it doesn't have dual zone climate control. It has 4-zone climate control. And down here you get 2 USB-C ports and 1 12-volt outlet. By the way, you get a sunroof. It's not panoramic, but it is still massive. You get a center armrest with 2 cup holders. It is leather wrapped. You get the same wood accents over here. By the way, you also get air vents up here, aside from the ones that you get down here. It's not too bad here in the third row. Knee room is pretty good. The only thing though is that the flooring is pretty high, so my knees are at a sharp angle. But I have usable headroom. I can fit 2 fingers on top of my head. Over here you get 2 cup holders, 1 USB-C port. Oh, and this is for reclining the seat, actually. So the third row seats are power adjustable. So you also have these bunts over here for folding the third row seats from the second row. Over here you also get 1 USB-C port. Your air vents are up here. Yeah, so now to get out, you just pull on this. Eat it! So that's the Toyota Land Cruiser 300 VX. This sells for 5.67 million pesos. So is it worth the money? Ultimately, this is a luxury car, and for luxury items, value for money isn't really the highest of priorities. But the waiting list for the LC300 right now is ridiculously long worldwide. So I guess that means that for some people at least, this is very much worth the money. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.